All right, we're back again today for episode number 5 of the EpicCash podcast. This is like I said, fifth episode, fourth country now that we've done it in. Today, Mr. Shawn Hebert, entrepreneur and founder of and owner of Just Learn Crypto. My Canadian brother is joining us. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm going to see if I can go through this whole video without spilling any coffee on my white shirt. So
Nice. Yeah,
living on the edge today.
I appreciate you coming on the Epic Cash podcast today. We've been friends for a while. It would be good to talk to you and let the our audience know a little bit more about what you're up to.
Absolutely, man.
I'd like to start in the beginning of everyone's journey, which is the most formative years, I guess, your youth. What were you like as a child and a student?
A child and a student. I was probably, I guess it's who you ask, but I'd probably say I was bad at both. I hated school, man. I found any reason not to go. I used to pretend to be sick a lot when I was a kid. And yeah, I'd get in fights in high school. I was the class clown, so teachers probably hated me, but I don't know, man. I was kind of the wild child. I was very against authority, and I think that shows in a lot of the stuff that I post to this day and a lot of the memes that I make. And I think it carried over to my adulthood.
That's awesome. Yeah. I can. I understand where you're coming from with the anti-authority stuff there. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Ottawa, but kind of in the country. So I lived rurally. No neighbors too close by. But I went to school in the city, so I spent a lot of my time in kind of suburbia as well. But yeah, grew up in the country of Ottawa, and I've lived in Ottawa my entire life up until a month ago when I moved out to Calgary. And I'm, nice and settled in now and living in a new province, and it's beautiful here. I've got the Rocky Mountains an hour and a half drive away. I can actually see them on a clear day from my house, which is
cool.
Just so cool to have those views and that nature so close.
Yeah, I saw some of the photos you posted there. It looks beautiful there.
Nice. Yeah, it is.
So let's get straight into the hard-hitting stuff here. When did you first discover Bitcoin?
Okay. First discovered Bitcoin, it was 2000 and I want to say early 2016, if not late 2015. And it was someone had brought me to an MLM meeting for, I think it was Gladia Coin. And I just was well versed in MLM lingo and the pyramid structure and all that, and not interested in it. But that was the first time I heard the term Bitcoin and like heard anything about it. And then about halfway through 2016, another person had said, "Hey man, do you know anything about Bitcoin?" And I was like, "Yeah, and a little bit. I know it's, internet money or whatever." And he's like, "Man, come to this meetup with me and come learn about Bitcoin, man. It's so cool. It keeps going up in price." And I was like, "Okay." I went, and it was another MLM meeting for a trade coin club. Mm-hmm. And they got a lot of friggin' money from people. All these Ponzi schemes, I don't think there's any good ones. But yeah, so again, I wasn't really interested. He went to the point of buying Bitcoin at an ATM. So it was kind of cool because he brought me to a Bitcoin ATM, mm-hmm. Which we had in Ottawa. So my first experience, actual hands-on experience with Bitcoin, was him making me download a wallet, him putting cash into a Bitcoin ATM and sending the Bitcoin to my wallet. And I was like, holy cow, this is so weird. It was so strange to me. And I was so interested. And then he was like, all right, so that Bitcoin that you have in your wallet, that's your startup fee and your first investment on TradeCoin Club. We're going to show you, we're going to set your account up. And I was like, he just gave me $200 of Bitcoin. Like, it's his money. You know what I mean? So he set me up an account, and then I never did anything with it. I never even turned on the trading bot. So that $200 of Bitcoin just got lost when they shut down.
You made us all a little bit richer that day.
Exactly, man. Contributing to the dust. Yeah. but yeah, so I just dove into Bitcoin after that, man. That pretty much that MLM was what got me interested. I became addicted to learning about it at the beginning. Spent 40 hours on YouTube in a week watching videos, and went out and bought some books and just started joining groups and uh, searching for actual meetups about Bitcoin, not about MLMs in Ottawa, and got to know some of the people in the community here in Ottawa. So that's how it all started, man. And then it really kicked off when I went to I started following Ken Bozak in 2017 and watched some of his videos, and then saw that he was going to be in Toronto at a conference. And Toronto was, a 5-hour drive from where I live. So I reached out to Kevin Moore, who was organizing the little. It was like a half conference, like a mini conference, and reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, man, I'd love to come down. Like, do you need any help? I know quite a few people in the crypto space." And me and Kevin became really good friends. I went down. Me and Ken became really good friends. Ken and me have done and worked on a lot of projects. Went to a lot of conferences. We went to the Coinsbank blockchain cruise last summer in the Mediterranean, and that was just like the ultimate networking experience. Yeah, me and Ken have been through a lot, man. We both have very similar, I think, morals and interests in the crypto space, and same sense of humor. And he's back in the crypto game a lot right now as well. He's actually in Toronto right now for the Futurist conference. So if there's anyone watching this that's in Canada, in the Toronto area, and they're not at the Futurist conference, give yourself a little bit of a shake, because you need to be there. It's the best crypto conference in Canada. Put on by an organization called Untraceable.
Very nice.
Yeah, they're fantastic, man. So I started buying and selling Bitcoin as a broker, actually, right at the end of 2016. And I think Bitcoin was at around $900 back then. And I found a company in Vancouver that allowed me to sell their Bitcoin and kind of operate as like a human ATM. And I made business cards. I went to the meetups. I met clients. I used to hang out at the strip club till 3 a.m, handing out, like outside, handing out business cards to people, because those, back then, that there was a lot of people using Bitcoin on, to get illegal stuff on the internet, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not here to ask what someone does with their Bitcoin, but if you want to buy some Bitcoin at a good price, hit your boy up. So that, that kickstarted that. I over the years, I think I've sold close to $500,000 probably now in Bitcoin, just through, like, meeting people and going to conferences, and hit a couple big people that bought a lot a few times. And yeah, I love it, man. I love that there's kind of a gap in the market when it comes to brokering, training, education, just kind of helping people and onboarding new people into the crypto space. There's still a gap for it, man. Like, a lot of the people in cryptocurrency, for lack of a nicer term, are nerds. And it can be hard for them to sell how cool Bitcoin and blockchain and decentralization and like just what it all means in a simple way. And I have worked in sales my entire life, so I was like, man, I can explain this so much easier than almost every video that I've seen of, Andreas Antonopoulos, great guy at explaining it. But you watch Vitalik Buterin explain Ethereum and try to get your grandma to watch that video and understand what the hell he's talking about. So, that's kind of how I got into it, and what's led me to where I am now.
So you saw an opportunity with like all of the scammers and stuff. You kind of, like me, wanted to step in and educate people about the space. And,
yeah. So we have a lot of scammers in Ottawa that were doing CRA scams and getting, and I think this happened in the States as well. But they're, calling and telling people you're going to be arrested. You owe $6,000 in taxes. You need to pay this. And we only accept Bitcoin. You need to go to an ATM and buy Bitcoin and send it here. And I mean, obviously it's a lot of seniors and a lot of gullible people that fall for that, but people fall for it. And I think, I've helped a lot of people by one-on-one teaching them where to buy Bitcoin, whether it's from me or whether they want to, they're in another part of the country or another country. And I'm not even financially benefiting from it. I want to make sure people aren't getting ripped off and, aren't sending their Bitcoin to something stupid. So I do try and ask some people like, are you investing this? What are you doing with it? And I've stopped a few people from joining MLMs or sending it to a scammer. Those stupid like guys that message you on Facebook and say, hey, I'm an account manager and I can triple your Bitcoin in 48 hours.
You just got to send me one and I'll send you 3 back tomorrow, right?
Yeah. So I've stopped a few people from doing that, and that makes me feel good, man.
Yeah, every single person you can help definitely makes you feel good. So was it heading into your business venture, you started Just Learn Crypto, where you teach people about all this stuff? I know we can get into that a little bit more, but was that your first business?
I'd say like my first business in crypto.
Your first real, overall business. Did you do any other?
No, so I've been in door-to-door sales for 11 years. I did my first door-to-door sales job when I was 18, and off and on for the last 11 years. That's pretty much what I've made a career of consistently. And I've actually run my own door-to-door sales office or my own direct marketing office, and I had up to, I think my biggest office in Ottawa was about 17 people that were out knocking doors for me. So I had a few teams of guys. So I have some experience running a business. I wouldn't say I'm a business guru in any way. I mean, I'm such a firm believer that if you're going to start a business, you need to have a good team. You need to have a good lawyer. You need to have good contracts. You need to have a good accountant, a good bookkeeper. And you need to have some money. I've started businesses and they failed before, because I didn't follow these rules. And now I just know the importance of having a support team around you, because you're not supposed to know the answer to every question in business. You're supposed to be able to find the answer and actually apply that information. And, from someone who's not done that in the past, it just makes me feel so much better now that I've got this amazing project, Just Learn Crypto. And I mean, as much as it's a hobby, more than anything, there are certain points within this project that I can hopefully make a little bit of money from, and have some passive income.
Yeah, I think what you just said is like super important for people to understand. Don't try to be a specialist in everything. Let other people, do what they're good at. Help you out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, there's so many resources you can get for free. The amount of free sessions that I've met with business lawyers, they'll always give you a half hour to an hour for free, to try and get your business afterwards. But you don't have to go with them. I mean, you don't have to, like, I've had lawyers draw up contracts for me for free just because I was like, listen, man, like I had a lawyer mess up a contract in the past and it cost me a lot of money. I need to know that the contracts that you're going to provide for me are better than the ones he provided. So can you draft up a small contract for this? And then I now have that contract for forever, right? And so there's lots of accountants too, man. Obviously bookkeeping is something you want to do. I do mine. I meet with my bookkeeper once a month, but some people do it, 4 times a year, twice a year, or just once a year. But if you have accounting questions, you can just call an accountant and, imply that you're looking for a new accountant or a new bookkeeper and slip in your questions. And, there's always ways to get things done cheap or free. So starting a business doesn't have to be expensive. You just have to be smart with how you're going to do it.
Exactly. Well, you want to tell us a little bit about Satoshi's Ball? You threw a pretty nice party last year.
So that was an interesting event, man. It was a blast. It was, so a bit of a backstory to that was in 2018, I traveled to 14 different conferences in Canada and in Spain, and just had a blast in the whole scene, man. I love the networking. I love the crypto community. There's so many diehard crypto people out there that you see at multiple conferences, and you develop a friendship, you develop a relationship with these people. And I actually organized a conference last summer. It was my first time ever organizing anything that big ever. And we ended up having just over 200 people show up. We had close to 30 sponsors for that event. We had a whole day of speaking and panels. And it really like lit a fire in me. And then Satoshi's Ball was meant to be kind of an anti-conference. So the best thing, looking back at my year, you know, winter had set in Canada. Winters are quite boring. There's not much going on. You don't want to take a 6-hour drive to Toronto to go to a conference. So I was like, man, I want to do another one, but I don't want it to be just another sit down, listen to people talk. The most fun I always had at conferences was the after parties, and, you know, when they had some good food and some good drinks, and it was the networking and the rubbing elbows with people, and, you know, meeting other influencers, and just more of a relaxed environment. Right. So I was like, you know what, we're going to have a party, just a crypto party. We'll get some sponsors. This will be easy compared to planning a whole all-day conference with speakers and panels. That was a lot of work. I thought it was going to be just easy. Yeah, I'll hire a DJ, I'll get some food, we'll bring in a couple event booths. It ended up being a nightmare to organize. So, I mean, keep in mind the market of crypto and Bitcoin, right? Throughout 2018, it was just...
It was a little bit of a brutal time to put it on, but it looked like you had
so trying to get sponsors for the event that were willing to, you know, fork out. I mean, we were asking very small amounts for sponsors. I mean, that was the one big thing that I believe in, is that you shouldn't get rich organizing a conference, especially for crypto. You know, the stories I've heard of Consensus in New York, where $5,000 tickets to get in, these sponsors are paying $20,000 to $50,000 for a booth. It blew me away, man. I was like, do these sponsors not realize that it doesn't even cost $20,000 to rent out a hotel for a day?
Yeah.
Like, yet alone you've got 100 sponsors jammed into this conference room, and I was like, there's
getting rich in the background and somebody.
Yeah, man, and I mean, with a bear market that we had all year, like, for one, I just didn't want to throw an event where the tickets were expensive. I didn't want to charge the sponsors. I figured it was better to have a lot of sponsors and have them pay a really small amount of money than to have, you know, 10 sponsors paying a crazy amount of money. But it ended up being very hard to get sponsors to pay any money. So it was challenging, man, but the event itself turned out amazing. Lots of people showed up. We had vendors, we had exhibitors, we had sponsors. We had 3 DJs. The music was amazing. The lighting was amazing. Yeah, it was just a fun night, man. Everyone had a great time, and it was like a very laid back opportunity to learn about some Canadian crypto projects, and also have a couple drinks and smoke a couple cigarettes and enjoy your night.
It looked like a lot of fun. You gonna have a follow up to that? Are you gonna try to do it again?
Probably not.
No, too much.
We'll
too
see.
Much.
Hey, man, if Bitcoin hits 25 grand, maybe we'll have a celebration party when it hits 25 grand.
There you go. All right, let's talk about some projects. We're using Mimblewimble protocol and stuff, and I'm just wondering, like, with EpicCash, I'm wondering what you think about privacy coins, and are you a BTC maximalist, or where are you at on the alt scene?
So I invested a lot in alts back in 2017. I had the sound mind. I don't know what it was, man, but I got out of almost every position I had, including Bitcoin, right before New Year's, right before the end of 2017. And it was just the most beautiful timing.
Timed that perfectly.
Bro, I'm not an economist. I'm not into finance. I'm just a regular guy who did sales his entire life. And the fact that I was making money that easily, and I was like, it was just too good to be true, man. Watching it all float up like crazy like that. Bitcoin was, in Canadian dollars, almost $25,000 a Bitcoin. From at the beginning of the year, it was just around 1,000. And I invested in a project called Electronium. I don't know if you're familiar with them. I mean, such an obvious pump and dump. And I told everyone that, But I ended up making a lot of money on Electronium, and then that was right in December, and I was just like, this is way too good to be true. Selling all my Electronium, and then I ended up just selling everything else and rode the wave down, man. And I mean, even now, I missed the bottom. I thought we were going to go a little lower than 3,200. So I'm waiting. I'm hoping, and I hope I don't piss anyone off by saying this, that Bitcoin goes down, because I definitely want to refill my bags a little bit. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. What do you think about privacy coins in particular? You
So
think they're going to be bigger in the future?
yeah, totally, man. I don't use them. I don't own any right now. I see the need. I see why they exist. I think there's always going to be a need for privacy, and I think, you know, an alternative to Bitcoin isn't a bad thing. If people are going to start using privacy coins for the you know, less perfect things in the world, and Bitcoin becomes a more pure currency out of that, then why the hell not, man? I don't have a problem with them. People are going to buy drugs and do bad things no matter what. It has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. That's just human nature. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think all money is going to be digital within the next 30 years. And that's me being super generous with the time. So, yeah.
I was wondering what you think, like, in regards to like governments banning cryptos and stuff like that. Do you think that'll be, you know, a need?
There's so many different governments out there.
Or
I mean,
you just think that they'll have to adapt to the Bitcoin landscape? Like, if they don't, they're just going to be left behind.
it's hard to say, man. It's a tough question. I mean, governments and banks, I mean, they're already almost completely digital. Like, they will phase cash out eventually. And I mean, what I think is going to happen, do I think a government wants their finances on a blockchain? No. The government wants to be able to cook their own books and play their numbers, and that there's a reason why voting will probably never be on the blockchain, and that's probably the number one use case for a blockchain in my eyes. And because the governments want to control the outcome of the votes, and the governments don't want a permanent ledger, because think of all, can you imagine if everything the government did with their money, with their actions, was recorded and on a public, visible, immutable, unerasable record forever? Like,
That's one of the reasons I think the future is a lot brighter than, you know, the last couple decades have been, because I think that being able to record history, like you said, we're going to be able to record history on an immutable ledger. They're really not going to be able to just, no longer will it be just the victors, you know, write the history books. It's not going to be tampered with.
I think that they're going to try to avoid it as long as they can. And I think it's going to create a lot of tension between the population that wants an honest government and the old government that isn't willing to be honest. And that might end up in, you know, something like we saw in France with the Yellow Vest protests, where they're just so upset financially over the situations and over the laws and tax laws that the governments are putting on them. Yeah. I mean, that could happen on a global scale. I mean, if Canada or the US went through what Venezuela's going through right now with their inflation crisis, like, bro, we'd be chopping each other's heads off. Like, it's something big's going to happen with that. And definitely, I think blockchain, cryptocurrency, digital assets, all of that's going to be the saving grace to that situation.
Perfect. What do you think about the future of, like, how many projects do you see having utility in the future? I mean, we got like 2,000 cryptos now. Where do you see that?
Man. Tons. However, right now, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Monero. Those are my four.
Okay.
I think we're so infantile still in altcoins and the technology. We're on a great track. I mean, we went from Bitcoin to Ethereum, which was basically Bitcoin with smart contracts and all these other capabilities. Now we're seeing financial institutions that are investing into blockchain technology, and, you know, Bitcoin futures might become a thing. So I think that there's just so much room for it to continue growing, man. And I also think that if you look, and I read this the other day, that the currency used in Minecraft is more valuable than Venezuelan dollars right now. And I mean,
That's
that goes,
remarkable.
I mean, we had an EA Sports player make more than, I forget, he made more than like Tiger Woods or some, I don't know, don't quote me on that, but he made, we've got these video game
Yeah.
kids that are famous now, making millions of dollars. Look at everything's going online, man. And if you deny that, you're a friggin' idiot. It's the way that the world's going to go, and we're going to have such a huge economy online, and there's going to be able to be private economies. I mean, it just takes people believing something has value. That's why Bitcoin exists. And I see a lot of companies trying to come out with their own currencies. Like, there's probably going to be a Walmart coin, and there's probably going to be a Facebook currency, and like, it's going to go that way, and it's going to work until it doesn't. And then, I think that there's enough room for more than one cryptocurrency. I don't think there needs to be just Bitcoin. I think that's a waste of such a cool technology, is to just have one use case for it.
I agree with you. I think the competition's going to let the best emerge, just like in everything else. That's just how economics work. So
Exactly.
where do you think we're going here in the next 2 years? It appears that we are in a bull market, despite your hopes that we aren't. What do you think in 2 years, and then in 10 years? Where are we going to be?
2 years, I think we'll be higher than we are right now. I don't think it's going to be a straight shot there, but who knows, man? No one has the crypto crystal ball. It's the amount and I've noticed too over the last year, the amount of that, like, just there's so much less price predictions coming out. You used to see John McAfee price prediction, Charlie Lee's price prediction, this and this person's a financial advisor from CNBC, and this is his price prediction. And you're seeing a lot less of that now, because fuck, no one's right. No, if someone's right, it's just out of pure luck. And I don't think people can quantify what Bitcoin's going to be in 2 years and 10 years. But the easy answer is, in 2 years, I think it will be higher than it is now. And in 10 years, I think it will be higher than it is in 2 years.
Perfect. That's exactly how I feel. I don't like to get into price too much, but I kind of like to, ask everybody what they think is going to happen here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to definitely send you over some Epic once mainnet goes live, so you can check it out.
Nice.
I definitely want you to check that out. Is there anything you want to plug here at the end? Say to your fans?
Not too much, man. We are releasing the website. I guess I can announce that. We're relaunching justlearncrypto.com. It's getting a total makeover. We're going to have new videos, new quizzes. It's going to be an ever-evolving platform. It's going to keep changing and growing, and we're going to be adding new things every month. But the basics of the website are going to be coming out within the next 2 weeks. So I'm pretty excited about that. Other than that, like you said, that website's justlearncrypto.com.
I'll put it in the description on YouTube as well.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm on every social media platform, so if anyone has questions, if anyone wants any help getting into crypto, learning about wallets, learning about exchanges, I'm not an expert, but I know the basics, and I only recommend things that I use myself. And I've helped hundreds of people make accounts and get into the crypto space, and I don't think any of them have ever been scammed or ripped off. So I stand by my knowledge. And yeah, people can email me at Shawn@justlearncrypto.com.
I've done business with this guy, so I can say he's a trustworthy man.
Thank you.
Definitely check him out. Check out the website. I appreciate your time today, sir.
Thanks. And shout out to me for not spilling any coffee on my white shirt throughout this whole video.
Very well done.
He did it. All right, man. Thanks so much for having me on, and let's do this again soon sometime.
Love to have you on again in the future. I appreciate it. Have a good week.
You too.